This video is about fear and ghosts, but it's not about a fear of ghosts. It's about a different fear of mine. I'm not a shy person. I'm good at talking to people, but taking photos publicly is a challenge for me. I mean, I can film in front of this guy. Easy. Or gal, sorry about that. So, I don't want people to talk to me while I'm taking photos, and I don't want to make myself the perfect victim of theft when I'm taking photos in strange places. But most importantly, I don't want to make people uncomfortable when I'm trying to take photos of them without their permission. I don't mean taking street photography photos. That seems to be pretty easy for me because the photos, they're taken inconspicuously. People generally don't notice when I'm taking photos out on the street. But I mean taking photos where I'm highly noticeable as a photographer taking photos, like using a flash for event photography or using a tripod to take long exposures in a public place. I've done a little of both, but it does make me uncomfortable. It makes me feel like everybody's looking at me. Well, today I need to practice shooting on a tripod in a public place because there's a building that I've been trying to capture. It's a Captain D's restaurant. So here you can see that I tried to shoot it at night, handheld. And this photo's not bad. It's sharp and not very grainy, but it's taken at a time of night where there's no detail in the sky. You can't see the trees around the building, and the whole scene is pretty bland. Then on another day, I went there to do long exposures, and that worked out very nicely, but the scene is still too dark, in my opinion. You can see that the highlights on the roof of the restaurant are blown, but the restaurant sign on the front is not visible. I captured these long exposures with a 1/4-20 clamp, which I mounted to the roof rack in my car. And the reason that I did that is so that I would not be seen standing in the middle of the road with a tripod. So naturally, you might ask, who gives a shit about this Captain D's restaurant? Excellent question. Do you mind? So naturally, you might ask, who gives a shit about this Captain D's restaurant? Excellent question. And the answer is enthusiasts of the paranormal and supernatural. This Captain D's is famously haunted. In 1997, a man killed 2 of its employees and stole the change out of the cash register. He went on to kill 7 people in total in fast food restaurants around Nashville, and he became known as the fast food killer. And he committed these crimes just so that he could gather up enough money to put a down payment on a Ford Focus. So this Captain D's is the site of his first murders, and the ghosts of the employees are said to linger in that restaurant to this day. So take a look at this area on Google Maps. This is the perspective of the building that I need. Other angles of this building have power lines running through it or street lamp poles. And this angle is not perfect. It has this charity donation box in front, but at least it shows me the front of the restaurant and the restaurant's sign. So the restaurant's overhead sign was important to me earlier when I was shooting at night, but I wonder if that's still going to be important to me today when I go out and I try to shoot with some light lingering in the sky. Let me show you what I'm talking about with these power lines and street poles. As you can see, there's this pole here that's blocking the restaurant. Across the street, there's that silver pole there that blocks the Captain D's sign. And then over here on this side of the street, there's obviously a big pole to avoid. So I've got those 3 poles. Even if I was standing over here in this median, I wouldn't get a clear shot of the Captain D's sign. But maybe if I was standing on the median over there, right on the edge of the median, I'd get a pretty clear shot of the sign, but then the cars would be so near to me that they would be really blocking my view of the restaurant. I would have to shoot kind of between cars and just hope I get one, but this is such a busy road that it would be pretty hard to do that. Yeah, but you can see what I mean about my fear of being looked at. Look at all these people will be watching me as I shoot my photo on a tripod. As you can tell, I'm already uncomfortable. Here I am sitting in my car with the door open, shooting through the glass to make myself slightly less visible to all of these passersby. So while waiting for the sun to go down, I came over here to take this cool shot of the Nashville skyline. As you can see, all of the, there's the skyline over there, and some of this is underexposed. And the field of view I got was about this wire over here to about this tree branch over here, just a little sliver. So we'll see how that looks once it's all stitched. You see the sun is still pretty high in the sky, and so that's why I just came over here to blow a couple minutes doing this. Wow, I'm blown away. This is a shot that I've taken 100 times. And I've shot it on all my cameras, all of my long lenses, and even on film a few times. But this one, with those fall colors, is simply stunning. And I'm so happy with how this came out. This is a panorama stitch of 44 distinct photos. It came out to 197 megapixels, but after I cropped into this part that I like, it landed at 99 megapixels. So I would definitely need to print this one nice and large. While I'm waiting for the sun to go down, I thought now would be a good opportunity to say a few things. First of all is that I learned this whole Captain D's story from Dizzy Spill, an excellent podcast that I'm definitely recommending. You should check out Dizzy Spill. Next, I want to tell you a little bit about the gear that I brought. So I have my Fuji X-T2. This is my primary photography camera. And this thing on the front is a wireless trigger, so that when the sun goes down and I have to start doing some longer exposures, instead of using a 2-second timer to reduce shutter shake, I can just click with my wireless clicker, and I won't shake the camera while I get my long exposures. So this is the camera that I'm going to use, and it has on it the 23mm f2, which is great, and probably what I'll use. But I also brought this 70-300 in case I need to get something really tight, or if I decide to do a stitched panorama like I just did a moment ago. The sunset was spectacular today. We're fortunate to have that a lot here in Nashville. Sunsets are famously vibrant, but the sunset was not behind the Captain D's at all. Fortunately, some of the pink sunset light was reflecting on the Captain D's sign, so that was nice. And before I left, I snapped a couple other buildings surrounding this Captain D's while the light was so nice. Okay, well, I may not have conquered my exact fear of standing right there at the tripod and taking the shot in front of people, but I got the shot, and I worked on it, and so that's all that matters. All right, well, time to go home and sort through about 200 photos of the front of this Captain D's and figure out which one is the good one. So, as you saw in the montage, I stayed out there for about 45 minutes, snapping photos continuously, while the light was fading so that I could choose which part of the light I like the best. And here's my decision. This one has it all. It has some of the sunset colors in the sky behind it, and reflecting from the Captain D's sign. It has light trails from the traffic on the street, but also somehow manages to have this awesomely sharp tundra in it. The Do Not Enter sign is decently large and obvious in the frame, just as I intended. The ambient light is enough to illuminate the restaurant sign over the door, while just barely keeping the light on the roof intact. I love that I can see so much environment around the building, yet this is the only building in frame. The traffic, the trees, the road trash in the front, it is all excellent. I'm happy with this. Now, as for the other buildings that I shot while I was here, this is the animal hospital, which I think is permanently closed, and any building would look good in this light. This is a Waffle House nearby. The sunset is most intense in this photo since it was almost due west of me. And lastly, here is Witt's Barbecue. This building was featured in my 2023 photo book, but here The light is too far gone. The artificial light from the building is overpowering the scene too much. This would have looked much nicer 10 minutes earlier. Okay, and a bonus photo for you now. On my way back home, I stopped at the same hill as before where I shot this pano, and I shot it once again while the last few minutes of sunset were still in the air. Ultimately, I'm glad to have gone out and shot publicly on a tripod. And not only that, but I filmed myself publicly on a tripod. So that's a big leap for me. My Captain D's photo came out great, but honestly, I think the real winner is the golden skyline pano that I took today. This photo is stellar. Cool, well, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.